Hi everyone, and welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions. My name is Tommi. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as DynamiteTrujillo. Welcome to episode 91 of my podcast. Thank you so much for being here. If you're a new viewer, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, a big welcome back. Today is a beautiful sunny Friday in January here on the Northern California coast where I'm coming to you from. There are show notes available for this episode in the description box below. Everything I talk about this week will be linked down there. And let's get into some admin stuff. Yay! I talked last week about how I wasn't sure if I was going to Stitches West, which is a yarn festival in Santa Clara, California in February, and I have decided I'm going. Yay! I'm so excited. I totally decided to go. I booked my room. I am going to be there. If you're going to be there too, I would love to hear about it. Tell me in the comments below, and I really, really hope we get to meet. If you see me walking around Santa Clara or the marketplace or whatever, please, please, please stop and say hi. I would love to meet you. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that I'm going. So I'm going to be at the Stitches event on Saturday at least. I'm not sure if I'll go Friday or Sunday, but I'm leaving to drive down to Santa Clara, which is a pretty long drive, on Friday. And so I'll get to Santa Clara on Friday evening, probably sometime. I don't know if I'll do anything other than check into my room and collapse, but I might. We'll see. And then I'll be at Stitches all day Saturday, and then I'll go home on Sunday. So I'm so stoked. I think I made the right decision. So again, I would love to meet you and hang out and stuff, so please do say hello if we run into each other. And that announcement is leading me into my next announcement, which is that I am starting a make-along inspired by Stitches, and it is going to be called the FestiMAL. So the FestiMAL, what it is it's a make-along that is centered around yarn festivals. So if you're going to a yarn festival at some point and you want to make something for that festival, that can be entered. Or if you've purchased yarn at a yarn festival and you want to use it, that can be entered too, that project. There's probably other ways you can enter too that I'm just not thinking of off the top of my head, but pretty much anything that you're knitting for a yarn festival or that you're knitting from yarn festival stash or yarn event or yarn convention or wool knitting fiber event, whatever you call that kind of thing. I always struggle to find a name for it when I describe to people who are not in the fiber community that I'm going to Stitches. They're like, what is that? And I say a yarn festival. Sometimes I say a knitting convention because that makes it sound professional somehow. But whatever you call these gatherings that we have, be it big or tiny, anything that you're making for that or from that, I guess, is going to count in the FestiMAL. And it doesn't have to be knitting. It can be any craft that you want to do. Are you baking cookies for all your friends that you're meeting up with at Stitches? Enter it. Okay, so I am going to run this make-along for a couple months, I think. It's January right now. Stitches is at the end of February. And I wanted to go past Stitches because I know probably most of the events that people generally go to are not Stitches West, because that's one event among many. So I don't want it to be completely based around Stitches. So I'm going to do it through March or something like that. And that way, if you are going to Stitches and you buy yarn, you can use your yarn and enter it into the make-along. And I don't know, you might be getting on your Rhinebeck sweater really early. Check it. All kinds of ways to enter. So there will be a hashtag that you can follow on Instagram. That's going to be FestiMAL. And then I will also open up some Ravelry threads, a chatter thread, and a finished objects thread. And I thinking I'm probably gonna do like a prize. Like I think I'll probably pick up stuff at Stitches for the prize for the make along. I think that's a cool idea. So I don't know, we'll see. But whatever I do, there will be a fantastic prize at the end waiting for you, possibly if you win the random number generator draw. Okay, so that's the make along announcement. I'm really excited. I love doing make alongs, and I'm happy to have one back in action. My next announcement is that I have opened a Patreon page. I know I'm a little nervous about it, but if you don't know what Patreon is, it is a website where people sign up and you can go and support those people. Typically, it's creators of some kind that open a Patreon page, and if you feel like you want to support them monetarily, you can by becoming one of their patrons. So I decided to open a Patreon page, but pretty much what it is I'm going to be doing, and I totally ripped off the Fat Squirrel, who is Amy Beth, who has the Fat Squirrel Speaks podcast, because I loved her idea when she started doing this, and so I copied it. But pretty much by becoming a patron, you're entering into a giveaway that I'm going to be doing quarterly on the podcast. So quarterly is every 3 months. I'm going to be giving away either yarn or something that I have made, most likely a knitted project. And by becoming a patron or by contributing at all, even if it's not through Patreon patronage, I think you can do like just a one-time only contribution. Even if you do that, or if you're a patron for any amount of time, even if it's just 1 month, you'll be entered into the giveaway, into the quarterly giveaway drawing. So I thought that's such a cool idea, and I don't know, I'm gonna try it out, see how it goes. So there is a link to my Patreon page in the description box below. There are 4 levels of support that you can choose from, and there's also that 5th option of just doing a single contribution and not becoming a patron. That enters you into the drawing too. So the first 2 levels get you some like cool things that I will send you in the mail, but you can check. I'm not going to go into too much detail. You can check out the page if you want to know more about it. But the first 2 levels, pretty much the big thing is that you get entered into the drawing. And the next 2 levels, you also get entered into the drawing, but you also get yarn in the mail every month that you're a patron. So I thought that was kind of a cool idea. If you want to contribute to the podcast, you can, and you either get entry into the drawing, or if you choose that level, you get yarn. And there's a level where you get a mini skein every month that you're a patron, and there's a level where you get a full mystery skein of Moonstone Dyeworks yarn every month that you're a patron. So if you're interested, check it out. And if you're not interested, I totally understand. Nothing about the podcast is going to change. I'm going to try not to bring it up too often either. Nothing's going to change except that you might be entered to win something that I make for you. So anyway, check that out if you're interested. Okay, so that's it for that. Thank you for listening to my spiel about Patreon. Now I'm going to move from announcements into FOs, because I'm wearing my big fancy FO. I finished my Gemini pullover. This is a pattern that I designed using Moonstone Dyeworks yarn. It's a top-down raglan pullover. I held my merino single base together with my mohair silk lace base in the Gemini colorway for both yarns. And they're both, well, one's a fingering and one's a lace, so, you know, it's that whole thing. And I am pretty happy with it. I love it. I really, really love it. I will show you the sweater, and then I will talk about stuff. So let's do the thing. So here it is. It's a V-neck, top-down raglan, and it's got a little bit of waist shaping. Here is the tour. That's pretty much it. It's really basic. It's got long sleeves with ribbing, and voila. I've been enjoying wearing it. I have worn it to the office where I work once, which was really exciting. Nobody said anything or gave me any sweater compliments all day long, which isn't weird, but still, like, kind of all day I was like, I'm wearing this sweater that I designed myself, that I dyed the yarn for myself, and I'm like, is somebody gonna say something? Am I gonna get to be like, thank you, I made it myself? No. But anyway, so like I said, this is a sweater that I designed. I wrote up what I did. I pretty much wrote up a pattern for it. And I was struggling with whether or not I wanted to release it as a pattern. I did want to. And I even went so far as to seek out and find a tech editor and grader that I really, really liked. And I made an appointment with her. And I was gonna have this, like, I wrote up the pattern, I was gonna have it tech edited and graded, and I was like, I'm doing it. And I got really excited about, like, putting out a pattern and stuff. But then once I finished it, I realized that there were things about it that I wasn't completely ironclad cool with. And I decided not to do it because I didn't want to put out a pattern, especially my very first pattern, that I wasn't totally happy with. So I backed out. I canceled my appointment with my tech editor, and she was super gracious and supportive about me doing that. I gave her some notice. I didn't do it like at the last minute. But if you are in need of a tech editor, I haven't actually used her services or worked with her yet, but she seems really freaking awesome. Her name is Megan, and she is the Unapologetic Knitter. She has a YouTube channel that I've talked about on here in the past, and I didn't realize she also did tech editing. She does really amazing brioche tutorial videos on YouTube. And when I was Googling tech editors, I found out that she was a tech editor, and so I looked more into her, and I kind of really liked her, and she's been really great to work with so far. So if you're looking for somebody, she seems really great. And if I decide to redo this or design any other patterns, I'm definitely going to work with her. Anyway, so this is not going to be written up or released as a pattern, but what I have done is I've put a project page on Ravelry for it, and I've put up pretty much the pattern that I wrote for myself. So if you're interested in making this in this one size that I have instructions for, you can check out the project page, which is going to be linked below. And you can use my instructions if you want it, but you know, you have to be knitting this size or just grade it yourself. I don't know how to do that. That's why I was going to hire a grader. But I pretty much made it in, it's a 33, or was it 32? I can't remember now. I think it's a 32. No, I think it's a 33-inch bust. I have my actual bust measurement is 32, and the sweater I think is 33. But pretty much what I did is I did a top-down raglan. It has this really deep V-neck, and what I did to finish off the V-neck is I picked up stitches, and I did one pickup for every stitch except for down the V-neck, which is when I did 2 pickups for every 3 stitches. And I just immediately bound off the whole way around. So there's no ribbing here. It's just kind of a straight up, I don't know, bind off edge. I don't know what you call that. And then I did 1x1 ribbing at the bottom. There's a little bit of waist shaping. The sleeves are long, but the things that I wish I would have done a little differently, and I think if I had done them differently, I would be doing a pattern. But I wish the sleeves weren't so baggy. I wish they were a little more form-fitting all the way down. They're good up here, but I think I did my sleeve decreases too slowly, and I would have liked it if they were a little more snug here. I also would like the sleeves to be a little bit longer, and I would like for the body to either be a little longer or a little shorter. The length It's good, but I think for me personally, I'd rather have it a little higher or a little longer to be more of like a tunic-y thing. Also, if I was going to do it differently, I would do my increases differently for the neck shaping when I was doing the raglan shaping. Weird little details, but if I was, and I could change them just on paper, but if I did that, I would want to knit a sample that obviously matched the pattern I was releasing. So I would pretty much have to reknit the whole sweater, which I'm not interested in doing right now. I don't think it's a unique enough pattern to really warrant that much that I would be putting into it, mostly because I just don't feel that excited about it anymore now that I've knit it. I don't really want to keep working on it. Also, one of the weird things about it is that this sweater that I knit for my size took exactly 2 skeins of yarn of each yarn. So I had to break into my swatch to have enough yarn to finish one of these sleeves. Like, this much of one of my sleeves is my swatch yarn for the merino single. I had a little bit of the lace left over, but the merino single, I used up every single last little tiny bit of it. I think I even for the bind off had to like cut off one of my ends and tie it on or whatever, you know what I mean, and use that to extend the length of yarn that I had. So I wouldn't want there to be that kind of yarn chicken if I was releasing a pattern, because that's not like, but also I think if I knit my sleeves tighter, I would have a lot more yarn, so it would just need a lot of reworking. But overall, I'm happy with it. I like wearing it. I don't think I'm gonna go back, at least not right now, and change the easy things that I could change. Just cause, like I said, I'm kind of overworking on it. But I really do like it. I really just wanted a pullover with a V-neck that was pretty plain and simple, and it's just all stockinette. And I got it. And it is my very first mohair knitting project, I think. I could be lying. I don't think I am. But it's my first time working with mohair, and I really enjoyed it. I always kind of thought I wouldn't love it because of how like floofy and flyaway it is, but it didn't really bother me, and I really like wearing it. So this is my first also garment with mohair in it, or, you know, knitted item with mohair in it, and I really enjoy it. It is very soft. It is very warm. This thing is super duper warm, which is great. So that is my finished object, my Gemini pullover. It is fantastic. If you're interested in seeing what I did to make this, you can check out the link below to my project page. All of the instructions are going to be there for this size. Okay, moving on, I have one more FO. And it is my West Yorkshire spinner socks in the owl colorway. They are too big for my sock blockers. Here's the other one. I made these for a friend of mine who has a bigger foot than mine, and I will be gifting these to him soon. So it's a top-down sock. I again used West Yorkshire spinners. I really enjoyed this yarn. It's the owl colorway from their bird collection. I did a 72 stitch cast on with a German twisted cast on with a size US 0 needle. Maybe I used a 1. I can't remember. I typically use a 0, but I used to use a 1. These might have been on a 1. I can't remember. It's probably in my project page, which is linked below. So I did a 2x2 rib, but it is a 72 stitch sock. And then heel flap and gusset. And a wedge toe. So I think I talked about this last time, about how the first sock that I knit, I didn't like how many stitches I went. I didn't like how much I decreased for the toe because it made the toe really pointy. So I did go back and rip it out. I completed my second sock and made the foot a little bit longer so that I didn't have to make the toe as long. And so it's got a little bit of a blunter toe, and I was happy with it, so I ripped back the first toe and redid it that way. And that worked out well. And they're wonderful. I love them. I had a really good time working on these. I do have a little bit of yarn left over. I think I have about 10 grams left. So that's cool. Hooray for finished gift socks. That is it for my FOs. I have a couple works in progress that I have been working on quite a lot lately. The first one is living in my Nightmare Before Christmas bag, which was made for me by my friend Unyoung. And I hope I get to see you at Stitches, Unyoung, because that would be rad. I am working on a project that I started a very long time ago. It is my 3-color cashmere cowl. I started this so long ago and then lost steam on it because I kind of didn't care about it. And I've picked it up recently because I have decided to gift it to a coworker for her birthday, and her birthday is in February. So the 3-color cashmere cowl is a pattern by Joji Locatelli. I am using these yarns, which are Knit Picks Gloss. This is the Guava colorway, this is the Doe colorway, and this is Timber. And Gloss is a wool silk blend. So it's merino wool, 70% merino, 30% silk. It does not look like it's superwash, so I better tell her not to throw this in the washing machine. You gotta remember that. So I've had this yarn for so long. It was part of my original stash, kind of from the early days of building my stash. It was one of my early Knit Picks hauls, and it's fine. I don't love it though. I don't tend to really love working with silk yarns. I don't know why. It's just not my favorite. So I've never really used it, but I thought it would be perfect for this cowl as like a gift knit. And so I started it a long time ago. I think originally I intended it to be a White Elephant gift exchange gift for my office. And then I just never finished it. And then I was like, oh, it'll be a birthday present for this one coworker. And so I kept working on a little bit and then never finished it. I'm picking it back up now because it's her birthday again and I'm finishing it this time. And as you may remember, I knit my other coworker birthday gift this past month. So I'm thinking knitted birthday gifts all around for my coworkers this year. So I think when I picked it back up, I was about halfway through this stripe section, and so I've got a pretty good amount of work on it done. It's a fingering weight pattern, and it's just a super long tube. And this pattern was crazy popular a really long time ago when it first came out, and I never knit one until now-ish. I'm using size 3 needles, which is what the pattern calls for. It's pretty fun to work on. It's super simple. Each section is really, really easy. Right now I'm on this section, which has these purl bumps. As you can see, I forgot to do a purl round here. Actually, I did do it, but I stopped doing it halfway through because I think on this side, yep, all the purls are there on this side. I don't care. She's not gonna care or notice probably. I don't care. I was not gonna rip back. So yeah, that's it. I've got a little panda bear progress keeper right there. So I'm just working on this. It is kind of taking forever because it's just a lot of fingering weight stitches in the round all the way up. I'm thinking there's like maybe that much more to go. So I've got a little ways to finish this before the birthday deadline. And then it will be out of my life and out of my whip pile. Hooray! The other project that I have been working on is living in my Woodsy and Wild bag. And this is another languishing whip. After I finished this project, I don't know what got into me, but I was just like, I need to go back and go into my whip pile and just pull out some things and finish them. So this is another project that I started a little while ago, not too long ago, but I put it down to work on some other sweaters. But I am back to it, and it is my Nurtured pullover, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. Here it is. These are all the things. So Nurtured is a bottom-up raglan pullover. It's got an all-over texture pattern. The texture is basically a garter. It's a variation on garter. So every other round is knit and every other round is purl, but there's also the patterny thing that's in there too. So it's a really simple 4-round repeat, super easily memorizable. I don't have to keep track of rows or rounds or anything like that. It's great. When I picked this up, I was, I think, about here on the first sleeve, maybe down here, I don't know. I was maybe halfway done with the first sleeve. So since picking it up within the last 2 weeks since my last podcast, I finished the first sleeve, I did the second sleeve, and I have cast on for the body. And I don't know, what is that, like maybe 5 inches along on the body? So this is great. I'm super excited about how good this project is going and how kind of quick I'm getting it done. I don't know, I'm pretty motivated. It's nice too because I was working on this sweater for so long at like a sport weight gauge, and this is worsted weight. So the yarn that I'm using, and that's probably making it feel like it's going by a lot faster, but the yarn that I'm using is Dream in Color. It's Dream in Color Classy, which is their superwash worsted weight, I don't know, merino yarn, something, it's wool. And that's what it looks like. So this is the Chocolate Night colorway. I have a bunch of these things. And if you can see, it's all squiggly because this was originally knit into a, gosh, harvest sweater? I can't remember what it's called. I had knit this into another sweater, a Tin Can Knits cardigan pattern, years ago. It was one of my first sweaters I think I ever made, and I didn't love it. I had 5 skeins of this yarn. I only used 4. The 5th one is still skeined up like it originally was when I bought it, and I made that sweater. It didn't fit great. It was it's an open fronted, whatever you call that. There's no like closures at the front. It's an open front cardigan, and it's a raglan shaped cardigan. And it's one of these sweaters that just didn't stay on my shoulders at all. So I would wear it and like it would just like ride back, and it was really annoying. I never wore it. So I ripped it out, and it's been sitting like this straight from ripping it out in my stash for a pretty long time. And yeah, I ripped it out, I caked it up. I did not reskein it or wash it or anything. This is straight up just ripped out. And I don't know, reskeining and washing it would have been like a whole bunch of extra work that I'm just not willing to do, and I'm fine with knitting it like this. So that's what I'm doing. And it's been really great to work with again. It's really nice yarn. This is the tiny little bit that I'm working from right now. And I've really been enjoying it. So here's a close-up again of the pattern. I really love this colorway. As you can see, it's pretty tonal. There's a lot of variation in the brown in this colorway. I'm not alternating skeins or anything, especially since they're all kind of broken up anyway. I also did not alternate skeins in this sweater either, even though I definitely should have with this one because it's, you know, small time hand-dyed yarn. And I should with this one too, but you know, should schmud. I'm not into alternating skeins. And it's coming out fine. This one came out fine. I was super happy about. This is coming out fine too, especially it's such a dark color. And you know, like I said, you can see the variation in tones on the screen pretty well when it's like butt up against these studio lights that I use. But in real life, like this, it's fine. You can't see anything. I'm cool with it. So I am knitting this on the recommended needle size, which is a US 8 for the main part. It has you go down to a US 7 for the ribbing. There is no shaping in this sweater, so it's a cropped pullover and the body is just straight down. I think I'm gonna follow the pattern in terms of length, but what I wanted was for the bottom of it to kind of come in a little bit. I have another cropped pullover. It's the Soldotna crop that has no waist shaping, and it's a crop and there is positive ease like this one. And I don't really like the way that hangs on me. I don't like how at the hem of the sweater, it's just all like there's no, I don't know. I guess I want the ribbing to come in a little bit more than that sweater does. So I didn't want the same thing to happen with this one. So what I decided to do was go down an extra needle size for the body ribbing. And also I cast on 4 less stitches for the ribbing. And then once I got to the pattern, I increased those 4 stitches just at the sides. So I don't know like how much of a difference that's gonna make or if I'm really gonna notice it, but I thought it would be, I don't know, it felt like the thing to do to me to kind of bring in the ribbing just a little bit, and I like it so far. So we'll see. Kind of the bummer thing about bottom up stuff is that can't really try it on that well until you're kind of almost done with it. So bottom up is not my favorite way to make sweaters. I really like top down, but it's all right. I think it's gonna be fine. I'm just gonna do the thing where from now on, after I did this modification, I'm gonna try to just follow the pattern and just do what she says and see how it comes out. Because I have a habit of trying to change everything because I want everything different, because I think different things look good on me. But I think I'm just gonna go and do what she says, and once it's done, then I can try it on and it's gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna look really good. I really like this sweater on other people. If you look through the projects on Ravelry of other people who have made this sweater, it's such a cool sweater. I love it. And this actually, the pattern was, the pattern itself, which is like an actual paper pattern, was gifted to me by my same friend who made me this bag. So there's a theme with my projects here. Can you tell, Eunyoung, that I can't wait to see you at Stitches? So that is it. I think that's all I have to say about that sweater. That's pretty much all I did. I really love this yarn. I just love this color. I'm going through a brown thing right now too, can you tell? Browns and golds. Okay. Okay, oh yeah, definitely, because look at this too. Brown, 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 brown. All of my projects have brown in them. That's wonderful, I love it. Okay, so that's it for my knitting. And now I'm going to move on to shop update. So I am the dyer behind Moonstone Dyeworks yarn, which you can find a link to in the description box below. And I have come up with a new mini skein set. I really like doing mini skein sets, and I dyed up quite a few of these, and they are up in the shop now if you are interested. So this is the Dusk mini skein set, and none of these colorways have actual individual names. It's just the Dusk set because I thought it reminded me of like the onset of nighttime and the day falling into night with these like kind of dusty grayish colors, and I really like it. I don't know if any of these colors will become regulars in the shop, because as I was dyeing them, what I typically do is take notes and I write down everything I do as I'm creating a colorway, because I create colorways like in the pot, you know? And halfway through dyeing these colorways, I just stopped taking notes. I don't know why. I just like I was feeling it, and I was just like, tossed aside the pencil, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go with it and see what happens. So I can try recreating these colorways, and I think I could. I mean, I think I can, like, based on the notes that I did take, I think I could recreate them pretty close. But if you like these, check them out in the shop, because they're original one-of-a-kinds as for now. But they're all pretty tonal with subtle speckles of gray and of the other colors that are kind of in the tonal itself. And it starts out gray and goes to a mint, and then a pink and a purple and a deep navy bluish blackish color. I really like this set, and it's going to be available on my merino sock base, which is what this is, and also on the Stellina sock base, which is the Stellina merino base, both fingering weight. So these are up in the shop now. If you're interested, check it out. That would be lovely. And also, Moonstone Dyeworks is doing its very first trunk show in March, and I'm super excited. So my local yarn shop, which is called Yarn in Eureka, California, is where I will be doing the trunk show. It's going to be a Saturday in March. I will let you know more details about it as it approaches. But for now, trunk show in March at Yarn in Eureka. If you happen to be local or passing through, I would love it if you came by to check it out. And if you're local, we should hang out. If you live in Humboldt County and we don't hang out yet, what are we doing? You should message me and we should hang out. So I don't know how many of you are actually going to be able to go to my trunk show, because it is a very, what do you call us? We're an out-of-the-way kind of rural community, so probably not many of you are going to be passing through Eureka, California in March. But if you are, hit me up. You come to the trunk show, we'll hang out, we'll have coffee, we'll get a beer. It's going to be great. Okay, so yeah, that's super exciting. And Yarn is a really, really great yarn shop. If you are ever passing through Eureka, even if it's not in March, you should definitely go there because it's a great store. Okay, that is it. Is that everything? That's everything. That's everything I have to talk about today. I'm gonna skip favorites because I feel like this episode is long. I hope that you're all having a really, really great January, and if you are knitting or making something for a festival that's coming up, or if you have stash that came from a festival that you haven't touched yet for whatever reason, break into it and join in the FestiMAL, because I'm really excited about it and I'm really proud of that name. I think it's super cool. And if you're interested in taking part in these cool giveaways that I'm going to be doing, or getting some mystery yarn in the mail, check out my Patreon page. That would be amazing. But if you don't want to, that's okay too. Don't worry about it. I think I'm going to start knitting for the first giveaway soon. I've actually been, of course, I'm still talking. I try to say goodbye and I'm just still talking. I've been browsing Ravelry, trying to figure out what I want to make for the first giveaway, because I think for the first giveaway, which is going to be at the end of the first quarter of this year, which will be, what is that? January, February, at the end of March, will be the first giveaway. And I really wanted to do like a knitted project as the first giveaway. So I've been kind of browsing Ravelry to see what I want to make. And I don't know yet. I haven't made a decision. If you have any suggestions on what you think I should make for the first giveaway, leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear it. I think that would be really cool if somebody suggested something and I did the suggestion of the thing that you suggested. Yeah. So if you're going to Stitches, let me know. Let's get a drink. I think last episode I said that there was a bar in the lounge. I don't know. I think I might be wrong. Somebody was like, there's a bar there? And I was like, isn't there? I think I might have just assumed it was a bar and it's really just a place with a bunch of couches. It looked like a bar. Anyway, we can find somewhere to get a drink, right? Even if there's not a bar at the convention center, which there should be, right? You go to work conventions, there's always a bar. At least that's what I see in sitcoms. We'll find a bar, don't worry. Okay. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like and subscribe. Comment below because I want to talk to you because you are awesome, and have fun and stay awesome. Bye.